Well, good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Welcome to the Doctors in Live on Facebook. And we love having you guys on. Thank you for coming on, and we appreciate it. You get your notifications. If you would like, say hi like Mike is doing. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Let's see if Brahim gets in there. Lynn, you're in the top 3. Brahim, number 4 in the race this morning. Janice from Brampton, how are you? Wendy from Wasaga. Carol from West Virginia, good morning. Fran from Orangeville. And Wendy from Markham. And Nick from our staff. Good morning. Suzanne, Edmonton, Alberta. Gary from Bolton. And Nellie, good morning. And Sandy Chilliwack, British Columbia. Maureen from Boca Raton, Florida. Marianne, London. Shirley, Twin Gate, Newfoundland. Marilyn from Kelowna. Sunny. Yeah, it's raining here this morning. At least it was. Marl, Ottawa. Donna from Park Hill. Good morning. Gertie, Burlington. And Milika, Stouffville. Deb, Harrow, Ontario. Vanda, PEI, good morning. PEI. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. As we go out east. Rosalinda in the clouds from Niagara Falls. Helga, Adeline, good morning to you. Maria, Portugal. Hi, Portugal. Marina, Nativity. Nativity is saying the sun's out. Maryland, PEI. Vince. Mary, good morning from Newfoundland. Kevin in the clouds. Sorry, Kev. I don't know what happens. Denise, Oakville. And Gary saying hi to Dave, I think. Judy. Brahim, 96 in Portland today. Wow. Sandy. Vancouver, Washington. Denise. Chatham, Kent. Lee's. Good morning. Patricia. Leela from Verner. And I don't know if that's 2 Patricias in a row or what. Luella. Good morning from West Tennessee. I'm going to say hi to Doc McEwen. Lil. Sue. Wanda from Virginia, good morning. Lucy from Azilda. Mary, PEI. Sandy, Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And Teresa from Calgary, Alberta. Paula, how are you? Patricia is saying she's having her coffee. Arlene, good to have you on. Thanks for coming. Cletus, how are you? Trish from Lindsay. And Linda, from Pennsylvania. We love Linda's. Hi, Rosa. Yala. Good morning. Elaine. A couple of more, guys. Kevin saying hi to Dave. Okay, so let's get back to the questions. We didn't get them all done on Q&A Friday, so guess what? Janice says, I hear the sun. Well, you heard right, Janice. I don't even know what you're going to ask. I hear that the sun is our biggest infrared energy, like those in the infrared saunas. Guys, the nice thing about the sun is you get a broad spectrum of infrared. You get the UVB. You get all the UVC, UVA. And the good thing is, okay, the good thing is the sun is beneficial for every cell in your body. You are a solar panel. Every cell in your body is looking for vitamin D, the sun. Nothing negative about it. Your skin. I know, stay out of the sun. That was brought to you by Johnson & Johnson. Okay? They wanted you out of the sun. They wanted to sell their sunscreen. Okay? And I was screaming then, And you're going back a long time. And I'm still screaming today. And let me just say this, okay? I was right about that because do you know how many sunscreens were recalled because they're carcinogenic? And I said that 50 years ago. I learned that in chemistry, high school. Do you remember that? You remember what a Bunsen burner was? You put, and I did this, you start mixing stuff together and add heat. Don't do that. I pretty near destroyed the chemistry class in high school, fooling around like I often did, okay? And adding ingredients that I shouldn't have been doing and then putting heat to it. Guys, you put heat on your skin with carcinogenics like sunscreen, the vast majority have them, you're asking for trouble. That's going right into your body. I mean, one of the best ways to get things into your body, put it on your skin. Why do you think they're using patches today, even for medication? It's a good way to put stuff into your bloodstream, right through the skin. So why not get the good rays of the sun? It's so good for you. And you're asking about infrared saunas? Well, I'm not against that. If you were to ask Serpa about the benefits of saunas, okay, and she says it differently than me, sauna or sauna, I don't know. Give it to a Finn. They know all about saunas. Good for you. Okay? They're good for you. And the infrared ones shows to be quite good for you. I love saunas. But the sun is better than all of that. Okay. Thank you, Janice. Louise, can you enlighten us on plasmalogens? What do you want to know? Like, don't go out and buy plasmalogens. No, listen, okay? And this is just, look, they're phospholipids, okay? Fats. The best plasmalogen, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to pronounce it, Louise, is DHA, fat. DHA fat is the best plasma fat. Now they're doing phospholipids where they're attaching fat to vitamin C, for example, okay? Attaching fat to different supplements so that they're more bioavailable. I think that's not a bad idea. Guys, but the top is eating fat. Eat it. Why do you think steak is so good for you? Don't cut the fat off. Fat in your ground beef. The other day, someone put it online to Dr. Martin. They don't understand when I say steak. Do I mean only steak? No. Like ground beef, roast beef. You know, I happen to like steak better than all of them, but I love roast beef, but I love hamburger meat. I love that stuff. It's full of vitamins. It's so good for you. And it's a phospholipid. When you got the fat in it. Okay. Carolyn, I also take your magnesium citrate on a daily basis. However, twice now I've heard you say that magnesium blocks calcium. Well, Carolyn, I think you misunderstood me, okay? Because magnesium helps you to absorb calcium. And I think that's a misunderstanding, okay? Because you know me, I love magnesium. Doesn't block calcium. Now, guys, listen, okay? It's really important you understand this. Calcium, the best way to get your calcium, and you should get calcium, you need calcium, but you want calcium to end up in your bones, not stay in your bloodstream, nor your tissue. You don't want calcium there. You want calcium ending up to its final destination in getting there. What helps that? Well, magnesium helps that. But even more than that is vitamin K2. So that's why it's important to take your vitamin D when you're taking a supplement with K2. Now, I'm going to tell you something. God has already put that in nature. So when you eat an egg, you're getting calcium with K2. When you have dairy, cheese, calcium with K2. Butter, calcium with K2. Right? Meat, calcium. There's a lot of calcium in meat. But it has the transporter with it, the K2. That's the way, you see how important it is? And that's why you never hear me talking about calcium without me talking about absorbing it and taking it out of the bloodstream and putting it in its intended destination, was to your bones and your teeth. You need calcium. But if you just take a calcium supplement, you're just clogging up your arteries. Why do you want to do that? Okay. And a lot of women, like calcium, I haven't looked at recent statistics, but when I had my radio show, I used to say this all the time. Calcium is the #1 supplement in North America. It shouldn't be, but it is. And why is that? Because doctors still today, they're scared skinny of vitamin D. Vitamin D, you might overdose on vitamin D. It's so, just be careful. You don't need it. It's going to kill you. And the war on vitamin D is on big time, right? But there ought to be a war on calcium supplements. I love calcium when you eat it with K2. And calcium as a supplement is one of the, the #1 supplements. I have to check on recent statistics, but I know that in my radio show days, calcium was still the #1 selling supplement in Canada and the United States, and it used to give me a migraine. How silly it is. You need vitamin K2. You need vitamin D. Okay, vitamin D will make you calcium. Eat it. Okay. That was, okay, Carolyn, I hope you got the message right, okay? And if I said magnesium blocks calcium, like without explaining that, I apologize. I don't think I would have said it like that, but I'm a senior. Who knows what I said? Okay, thank you, Carolyn. Thomas said, great Facebook last week on nitric oxide. Well, thank you, Thomas. And here's your question. I love beets. I don't. You do? Are beets good for you, Thomas? Yeah, they're good for you. You're saying they are high in sugar. Well, there's a lot of things higher in sugar in a fruit or a vegetable, higher than beets. Okay? And guys, you know me. I'm very honest. When I don't like something, I tell you. It's me. I don't like the taste of beets. Okay? But they're good for you. But remember with beets, okay, they got high oxalates. So, be careful with them, okay? Thanks, Thomas. We appreciate it. But they do elevate your nitric oxide, but not as much as pine bark does. Pine bark elevates your NO, your nitric oxide, more than beets. But I love beets. No, I don't. I like them, but I don't love them. Okay. This is another Carol. One was Carolyn, and the other one is Caroline. And Caroline is asking, any suggestions for dealing with nerve pain and numbness in the feet and legs? Well, look, if it comes, and you're saying it comes from your back, disc, a lot of people have pinched nerves. They have degeneration in their spine. Sometimes the canal in the spine where the nerves come through are narrowed. And yeah, well, look, I mean, one of the things you want to do, Caroline, okay, anytime you have nerves, the vitamin that helps the nerve more than any other vitamin is B12, okay? Some people say B6. B6 don't even touch what B12. B12, just check your levels if you can. Make sure your B12 is optimized. That helps. Make sure your vitamin D is optimized. That helps. You want to be anti-inflammatory diet. Eggs, meat, and cheese are very anti-inflammatory. Lay off the sugar. Sugar is very inflammatory. And so are crappy carbs. And you want to lubricate. I love omega-3, especially very specifically high DHA. Okay? And I like curcumin too. Very anti-inflammatory. Okay, Diane, would you have any idea, Dr. Martin, on why I wake up exhausted? It takes me 30 to 60 minutes to feel better. Ordinarily, okay, and I used to see this all the time, Diane, okay? I used to see this all the time. That is usually when you get up and you're exhausted in the morning and you feel terrible. That's adrenal. That's a sign that you're getting adrenal gland exhaustion. It usually means that your cortisol is high all the time. And then what happens is that your adrenals eventually, they get a real burnout. And then you can get low levels of cortisol, but it doesn't matter whether it's high or low. Low levels of cortisol all the time just means that your adrenals are exhausted. I wrote books about this, okay? Chronic fatigue syndrome. That was classic. Get up in the morning and you feel like you got run over by a truck and you're still exhausted. You're sleeping, but a lot of times with cortisol being elevated or cortisol out of whack, you're not getting into that recuperative sleep. It's one of the problems with stress. Now, you can get stress from pain. You can get stress from, environmental. You can get stress from bad food. You can get stress. Your body don't know the difference between a lion chasing you, family dynamics, financial, health, whatever. Your body don't know the difference between that. And so cortisol, which is on your side till it isn't. Cortisol is part of your circadian rhythm. But what happens if that gets out of whack? What happens if it's being secreted all the time? I can tell you something. Hold on. Because I gotta... Diane. I can tell you something, Diane. If I tested you, guarantee your adrenals are not up to snuff. Now remember, there's other things involved with that. You got to look at the whole picture of your endocrine system, okay? And I was big on that because I didn't guess, I tested. And from your thyroid to your ovaries, okay, releasing estrogen, progesterone, to your adrenals, cortisol, and your pancreas. Okay, I used to draw a picture. Let's see if I have it out on this. I usually have it in front of me all the time. Okay, but it's easy to draw because I can't draw. But I can draw this, okay? If you were to do, I used to do this with my patients all the time, okay? So I used to do this, okay? And I drew circles, okay? So you see that? See all those circles in that pyramid? Nah, guys, I flunked art, okay? So don't come after me for that. What's at the bottom here? Estrogen and progesterone. And if it was a man, I'd put a circle in the middle, a little wee one, testosterone. But those are the big things. Estrogen, progesterone in women. Then you go halfway up and what do you got? Two other circles. What's there? Your adrenals. Adrenal on top of kidneys. And then in the middle, you had your pancreas secreting what? What hormone? Insulin. Okay? And then on the top, I had your thyroid. And they're all connected. They're all connected. And one thing you have to do is you got to fix this here. That one in the middle. You better fix it. If your insulin and insulin resistance is high, this is a food problem. You got to fix the food. So this is why I was big on that, okay? And when this is messed up, and sometimes it's all of it, Diane, you got to do a complete revamp, okay? And it's within that endocrine system. So if you're exhausted all the time, when you get up in the morning, you're exhausted, it's adrenal, guaranteed. Okay. Marissa, she's frustrated. I wake up to pee around 1 or 2 p.m. Is there anything I can do to help this? Well, look, check your timing of your water. You know me, guys. Am I big on vitamin W? You bet your boots I am. And I've been consistent talking about vitamin W because you get the gurus and it don't matter as long as it's liquids. Who knows if it's, you don't need that much water. You can eat your water and eat fruit and all that. Look, guys, okay? I try and bring you biology. I try and bring you physiology. I try and make it simple so that you understand it. Only water is water. Coffee's not water. Fruit contains water, but it's not water. You got to drink it. So with you, Marissa, you might have to really quit early on drinking water. I still want you to get your 2 liters. I still want you to get 64 ounces of water. Okay? But you might have to check that. And usually as you get older, okay? Usually as you get older, Marissa, you're joining the cast of millions that got to get up in the night, okay? If you're not used to that, okay, when you become seniors, getting up, I'm pretty good. But, you know, and I got to drink water. I know the importance of it. And sometimes, you know, like but I'm rarely ever up more than once a night. Okay? And on the way to the bathroom, I'm saying to myself, prostate. Okay? I remember years ago, a good friend of mine, Jean Pronovo, said, watch men if you go to, like if you're a senior and you go to the show in the matinee, you know what I mean, in the afternoon, watch all the men get up and go for a pee and say prostate, the prostate. But women, the bladder descends a little wee bit as your progesterone goes down. Progestation, that hormone is very important for your bladder. As your progesterone goes down, your bladder, the smooth muscle, doesn't work quite as well. And you might have to get up. Now, like I said, watch your water intake. Okay? Some people have found to get on, when I dim out their estrogen, that helps with that. Okay? Anyways, Marissa, I get it. Frustrating. Joanne, how do you cleanse the plaque in your arteries? Well, look, there's no magic to cleansing arteries in terms of, look, if you have atherosclerosis, what you are trying to do is a couple of things. One, you want to not make it worse. You don't want it advancing, okay? I've seen in my practice days carotid arteries, okay? So your carotids here, and people built up. Now, some of them, I said, well, look, here's what I would do. And let's see, because you're going to get it tested. Because sometimes they would go in and want to open up and clean up the plaque in the carotid arteries. So, you know, and some people were hesitant about the procedure or whatever. I said, well, let's do natural first. Change your diet, cut out your sugar. Why? Sugar causes glycation. And it's amazing what happens when you just cut out sugar. Okay, 1. 2, increase your omega-3. What is omega-3? Lubrication. The more you can lubricate your arteries, especially that little endothelial, the Teflon layer of your blood vessels, okay? You want to lubricate that. That helps, and your body can break plaque down on its own. Thirdly, elevate your NO, nitric oxide. Open up those blood vessels. Remember, what does that? Well, vitamin D does that. Pine bark extract, Navitol does that. Okay? Beets. I'm laughing because I don't like beets. But vitamin D is very important for your blood vessels. Very important at the endothelial level, vitamin D. They got little antennas too looking for vitamin D. So good for your arteries, okay? Look, the chelation therapy, okay, where you get IV or suppository EDTA, okay? It was made to take out heavy metals, and then some doctors were using it to reduce plaque in the arteries, okay? It's called chelation, C-H-E, chelation therapy, okay? Thank you very much. That was, hold on a minute, that was Joanne. Guylaine is asking about hair analysis. I liked it. I used to do it. I used to send hair out for analysis to labs. Depends on the labs. I like urine testing better, saliva testing better, blood testing better. But you know what? Hair analysis, I never have no issue with it at all. I mean, I like it. Okay, I think there's better things, but I like hair analysis for sure. Give me all the information you can. I like that. Okay, I used to do all of it. Hair analysis, I got away from it later on in my days in practice, but I knew it was still good. I just found things to be more accurate. Okay. Joanne, I talked to you already. Teresa, what do I think about freeze-dried foods? I got no problem with that. Hey, freeze-dried. Like your fruits, strawberries and that, they pick them, they freeze-dry them. Very good. You still got all your vitamins. You still got the best of the nutrients in there. I like it, okay? I got no problem with that. Okay. Somebody have an opinion on it? Well, that's why we have our group. I like it. Someone says, you got anything else to add to that? Let Evelyn know. Sherry, I want to sing, Sherry. Should not one take vitamin D if they have sarcoidosis? Well, sarcoidosis, okay, is an autoimmune disease. And I understand doctors, okay? They never admit it, but only when they want to be negative. Here's what I mean by that. You got sarcoidosis. That's an autoimmune disease. Why would you want to take vitamin D, which is going to help your immune system? I get a migraine. They never like vitamin D for the immune system until they got to tell you that it helps your immune system when they don't want you to take it. I never heard anything so silly in all my life, okay? Because vitamin D, that's only for your bones. Why are you taking vitamin D for your immune system? And then someone has an autoimmune, they go, well, don't take vitamin D. Now it's going to elevate your immune system. I want to scream. But guys, listen to me. This is so important, and I know you guys get this, but I got to say it again. Your immune system is so complex. Now, when you have autoimmune, okay, your immune system is out of whack. It's turned on itself. But you still need immunity. It's just part of that immune system is mixed up. But vitamin D only helps. Is there anything negative about vitamin D? No. Is there anything negative about getting in the sun? No. Don't burn. I don't want you to burn in it. But it's always good for you unless you have, you might have to take a supplement rather than getting in the sun for vitamin D. Or very limit your sun because who had an allergy the other day to sun? Okay? Someone that has lupus, for example. They got to be very careful in the sun. They can get a little bit, but they can't get very much. But then those people need to supplement with vitamin D with K2. Okay? Some people got to supplement. Most people got to do both. They don't get enough sun. Okay? If you live where I live, you don't get enough sun. No. Okay? So sarcoidosis, which is, an autoimmune disease, you start getting inflammation, lungs and the skin, and, the body turns on itself. But vitamin D is still essential, still good for you. And anyway, it frustrates me to no end when I hear stuff like that. Okay? So Sherry, yeah, you need vitamin D. The best way to get vitamin D is in the sun, by the way. Okay? It is. And isn't it amazing that if you spend 20 minutes in the sun, you get 10,000 IUs? And then if you take 10,000 IUs, your doctor's going to have a heart attack. 10,000 IUs. Ah! But if you go in the sun for 20 minutes, you get 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. Oh. Anywho. Diane. Wondering about abscess tooth. My dentist has me on an antibiotic. Well, look, if you need an antibiotic, take an antibiotic. Just make sure you're taking probiotics. Make sure you're taking a broad spectrum probiotic. Because then you'll minimize the damage of that antibiotic. Look, if you got an abscess, so you got no choice but to take. And, you go natural too, though. Like, do the oil of oregano in the mouth. You might even want to put a little bit of powder in the probiotic. Open up a capsule, make a little paste with coconut oil and whatever, and do right over the gum and right over the tooth. Do what you got to do, okay? But if you need an antibiotic, Diane, then you need an antibiotic. Rita. I have to be on a PPI long-term due to grade 2 esophagitis. Okay, I got oral thrush. What can I do to prevent this in the future? Well, get on digestive enzymes. Get on broad-spectrum probiotics. You might take a little bit of either apple cider vinegar, a little bit every day, a little bit of, or balsamic vinegar. Get the acidity up. Okay? Because Rita, the reason you got esophagitis is because at the start, your acidity in your stomach wasn't acidic enough. And your body reacted to that. Okay? So our digestive enzymes have a broad spectrum of enzymes, protease, amylase, lipase, and really high in protease, because those are the enzymes to break protein down. So do that, and you should be fine, okay? Maybe a little bit of aloe vera, too, in the meantime, just to coat that esophagus. Aloe vera juice, okay. Jan, I can't remember if I answered this the other day or not. Jan, what are my thoughts on benfotiamine? It's a supplement. Yeah, I know that. Okay. It helps the brain absorb B1. Well, look, I'm big. I think I might have said this the other day. I'm big on the supplement of B12, because most people, B12 is a finicky vitamin, but not B1. If you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you're going to get all the B1 you need. You'll get all the B3 you need. You'll get all the B6 you need. It's better to take your B vitamins in food, and I've always believed that, and B12. Because B12, again, is a finicky vitamin. As we get older, you got a lot of factors. B12 is a very finicky vitamin. And most people are very low in B12, and that's why I'm big on supplementing. Okay. I think I did this the other day. Eyelid twitching. Well, usually, okay, here's me. When you got one of your eyelids, usually you could be low in magnesium, you could be low in potassium, you could be low in B12, and you could be low in vitamin D. Okay? Could be all of those factors. Okay. And stress can aggravate that, because cortisol pours gasoline on the fire. Okay. I think I answered everything, guys. If I didn't, let us know, and I promise you I will answer it. Okay, guys, we got a great week coming. Love you dearly. Love you sincerely. Thanks for all the questions. Send your questions into info@martinclinic.com. We appreciate the questions. You have no idea. Okay? Talk to you soon.